Hello, this is the Daily Forex Report for December 21st. We are looking at the U.S. Japanese yen pair first. This pair overall is moving sideways, closed down today. We are looking for it to continue moving sideways, potentially going as high as 84.28, possibly as low as 83.07. Look for some resistance around 84.15 and look for some support around 83.48. Now the Euro USD, this pair moved to the upside but pulled back, closed lower. Overall, long term moving sideways, potentially moving up to 132.80, possibly moving to 129.54. Look for some resistance around 13200 and look for some support around 130.70. Now the pound US dollar pair closed lower during today's session. We are looking for this pair to overall continue its move to the downside. It did break previous support, closed below it, so we are looking for it to move lower. However, on a pullback, it could go as high as 156.39, possibly as low as 153.20. Look for some resistance around 155.66 and look for some support around 154.25. Okay, now the US Swiss. This pair has hit some previous support, pulled back, closed down, moving sideways overall. I do believe we have a bias to the downside. Look for it to potentially go as high as 0.9706, possibly as low as 194.74. Look for some resistance around 0.9650 and look for some support around 0.9550. Alright, as far as news announcements go, we have the Bank of England releasing their minutes for December at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have the New Zealand releasing their gross domestic product for the third quarter at 4:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Consensus on that one is that it's dropped from 0.2% to 0.1%. Year to date, they're showing a decrease as well from 1.9% to 1.8%. So, could be negative news if it comes out lower than that. It could hurt the New Zealand dollar. Okay, what am I looking for during this next session? Well, let me preface this by saying that during the holidays, usually we have a little bit thinner market than normal. So you typically don't see the range that you normally would. Now if you take, we have some trend lines we can draw here in the US Japanese yen pair just to get an idea of where things potentially could go and where we could potentially get in the market. Okay, let's zoom back in. Now to the downside, we have a potential here to grab about 17 pips between these two, basically looking for a short right here, which is very close to the low right in this area. And then if you notice down here, we have another area of support that it's pretty close to. So pulling 15 pips out of there shouldn't be a problem. Considering the distance here, this would mean that the market had to move 42 pips, which during today's session, the overall range was about 40 pips. So definitely, has the potential to do that to the downside. If it moved further, our low would be around 146. This would be a much, much lower target. I don't think due to the holidays it will get there. Just so keep that in mind. Now the Euro USD pair. This pair we have, let me back out just a little bit further. Oh, that should do it. We have some other trend lines that we can put on this one. Basically taking this point and this point. And then we'll take this point and this low here. Similar setup, similar deal, looking for a break of a trend line and looking for it to move lower from there. That'd be about a 46 pip move before it hits. And looking for it to move down about 100 pips overall, about 63 to the downside. Okay, and last but not least, we have the US Swiss. Here we've had an area right here of previous support the past several. We have 1, 2, 3 sessions all closed in this area, or I'm sorry, had lows in that area. We have the potential for it to move lower. If it moves lower and breaks to the downside, we have a couple of areas that we need to look at. Here again, these are just quick little, taking quick little snippets out of the market. This first one being roughly about 10 pips. So snagging 10 pips out of the market, potentially it going 34 pips to the downside and closing lower. Definitely could see that happening in the US Swiss. So those are some support and resistance trend line breakouts that we're looking for over this next session. Nothing really large, if you noticed, and that's again due to the fact that you typically see lower volume during or close to the holidays. Well, that about wraps us up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.